Welcome everybody to Red Suit Interviews, and we are joined by a man who was a myth until he became a legend, Mr. Voxis Productions / Paul / Professor Tosspot. How are we?
I'm good, thank you for having me on.
Yeah.
Legend. That's quite a title to live up to.
Yeah.
But yes, thanks for having me on. I've never done. I don't think I've ever been interviewed like this before, so
No,
it's
yeah.
my first time. Please be gentle.
I'm gentle. Don't worry. I'm a lovable guy. Okay. It's all good. So I guess for the people, because maybe people don't recognize you just hearing your voice. So who are you, and what do you do?
I'm Paul. I am the creator of Voxis Productions, and I'm speaking in my normal voice right now, which is really nice. It's a good welcome change. And I'm a low budget video producer, and I am most renowned for my show Smack Talk, and I'm essentially the host of that show by being Professor Tosspot, and that is what I'm known and remembered for. I think people don't know that there's a guy behind Professor Tosspot who is a puppet.
Wait, he's a puppet? I thought he was legit.
Yeah.
Oh shit, my bad. Okay.
I've broken the fourth wall.
So for the most of the time, I speak like this, and I play an eccentric old man who rants and raves about the modern world, and people find that quite agreeable. So that's what I do for a living, I suppose.
So yeah.
How did you get into doing these videos? Because the puppet scene isn't a very, from what I know, a popular sort of way of producing a video on YouTube. So what was your sort of inspiration with doing this sort of content?
I don't know, man. Crystal meth is a hell of a drug. There are a few puppet channels from what I've seen. I think the biggest one I've seen is there's a puppet review for Nintendo games called Arlo.
Yeah.
Big blue puppet, very professionally kind of made. There's a puppet called General Binksy, and he talks about he's a little Soviet-looking puppet, and he talks about hypothetical wars that you could have. It's all very weird. But yeah, the puppet scene. I've seen some people incorporate puppets occasionally, but they don't make it their main thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, the idea of Smack Talk is an amalgamation of several ideas and just a kind of something clicking in my head. So my sources of inspiration, and people, I think some of my fans already know what they are, is definitely Charlie Brooker, his Screen Wipe series.
Yep.
So for those who don't know, Charlie Brooker now writes episodes of Black Mirror, but before that he started off writing for PC Gamer magazine, where he wrote these very cynical takes on things, and he wrote for The Guardian, doing again cynical takes, and then he got his show called Screen Wipe, where he reviewed TV shows and occasionally the odd film, and it was that kind of sarcasm and witticism that really inspired it. And another big one is Wonder Chosen. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but Wonder Chosen
Nope.
was a gratuitous puppet show on MTV, and it just had very dark humor and very obscene puppets. I remember seeing it first time, and it was just hilarious. Maybe I just a very lowbrow humor, but it's like an amalgamation of that and Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh,
so
yeah,
all those
yeah.
kind of, all these low budget riffing kind of shows is where I mostly drew my inspiration from. But I didn't see these things to me go, I want to do something like that. It was more like I took some inspiration and cues from it. It happened when I stumbled across the actual Professor Tosspot puppet. Now the puppet itself is a puppet that actually is not custom made. Anyone can have this puppet, but I took it and made it my own thing.
Okay.
So I saw it at a shop that sold puppets and handbags. which is a really weird business model. So on the one side of the shop, you had all these fancy handbags, and on the other side, you had just walls of puppets, their mouths agape, just screaming. The shop didn't last very long. I will be honest. I think a month later it closed down because it's a really weird business model. This handbag looked good. Oh, damn! The puppets looking at me, screaming and being judgmental. It's very weird little kind of pop-up shop. And I saw the Professor Tosspot puppet, and I was thinking, that's a little thing. And then it was near a train station, and I just missed my train coming back home because at the time I was working pretty crappy jobs just to try and save up money so I could do my masters in film and TV, because that's what I really wanted to do. I wanted to get into film and television, which just never really happened. So I had time to mull it over and just like, maybe we could do some funny little sketches like puppets. And then I started thinking over and over in my head. Now I didn't actually end up buying a puppet from the shop, but I did see it on Amazon.
Okay.
And it took me a while to kind of think of the kind of premise. So I started mulling it over. But I changed jobs at one point. I was just working in a factory, and I spent a lot of my time just moving pallets of stuff and just daydreaming. A lot of daydreaming about, possible content I could make, videos, YouTube, because I wanted to build up my show reel. I wanted to branch out into working in television and film because I had a passion for it. I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And every one of these menial jobs that I did, co-workers would see some of the little videos I made at university. I do my undergrad, and they were like, "Oh, you got talent. What are you doing here?"
Yeah.
And just drove it home, and I got really frustrated not being able to find work in the industry. I tried going out and doing a documentary all by myself, and I tried to get Channel 4 to commission. I made a pilot for a little teaser for a documentary I wanted to work on and get their help, and they were just like, it's not weird enough for us. And they went off and they commissioned, I think it was Man with 10 Stone Testicles.
That's the one.
Commissioning.
That's the one.
Yeah. So that was really hard, and I was kind of fed up, so I thought I'll try something here. I'm quite opinionated. Maybe something to do in publisher. So I made the first episode. It took me months because I was getting back into the saddle. I hadn't been making videos for a while, and I hadn't doing green screen for years as well. So it was relearning a lot of stuff. And so I did it on video games. And the voice was very different. It was very, very rough. You can see the first ever episode of Smack Talk on my channel, still there. And I got it out and I put it on my channel, and I started to get the odd comment. I ended up having to promote myself on 4chan, of all places. Well, you laugh, but actually,
I know. I did the same thing when I interviewed Big Man Toro, and so I get where you're coming from with that. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to start somewhere, and actually, quite a few big YouTubers have promoted themselves on 4chan and part of the community. Mandalore Gaming I met through 4chan, and Seth Tosintok also obviously started on 4chan. He kind of appeals to their humor, but I started to get feedback from people there. They were actually really quite nice and go, "Yeah, this is funny, you think you're on something." And then I got thinking, it's like, well, maybe I could do another episode, because it was just really to test. It would have stopped right then and there, really, after that first episode. And then again, when I was back to working my crummy job, I had a lot of time to just wander back and forth on the factory floor, just thinking of ideas of possible episodes, and then I thought, yeah, I can do some stuff. So I started scripting, and I've been at it 5 years on and off, mostly quite a lot more now that I've got free time and I'm not studying and working as much.
Yeah.
And due to various health reasons as well. So I've definitely been able to build up the channel a lot more. And recently I hit 50,000. So it's taken me a couple of years, but I've generally been a small channel, and I'm quite happy with that. And I've also been very lucky to get the fans that I've got. They're very loyal, and they're very understanding viewers, and they're entertained. And I'm I'm never quite happy with the stuff I create. I'm always a bit of a perfectionist. I'm always thinking I always do better. But I think all the stuff, little projects I've done, I think Smack Talk, I guess I'm proud of, reluctantly proud, because it entertains thousands of people, and it is a good feeling. To be fair, I will be honest there. It's nice to create something that people can laugh and enjoy it, and I'm sure as a creator you know what that feels like.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
That's the rewarding process, that you have people saying, oh, I saw this or I listened to this, and it was entertaining.
Yeah, so
The best you can hope for.
yeah, and touching on that, like, what would you like? What requirements for yourself? Because you don't say you always want to sort of fix something after you put it up with your videos, but what makes it like a video you're proud of on a singular basis? When do you go like, you know what, this is the one that I'm proud of? And if so, like after that, sort of, what is your most proud video?
I'm not proud of any of them. I wouldn't say I'm proud. I'm happy, but there's something in the back of my mind that says you can do better, get better. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's something that's always making me want to try new things and get better at video making. But I'm never satisfied. There's always something niggling. There's always something, I gotta do better. You know what? The next video, that's the one that's gonna be better. I don't know if that's healthy or not, but that's not to say I think everything I produce is crap, because the proof is in the pudding. The response I get is overwhelmingly positive, and people love my stuff and they support me. They donate to the channel because they want to see more. So it's not like I hate my stuff, but I always think I can do better, and the next one's gonna be bigger and better, and I'm always trying to try new stuff, new special effects and things like that. So I still, maybe it's a confidence issue. I'm always very self-conscious, and I just don't feel like I've mastered it yet. I mean, it's very hard to master anything, but I still don't feel like I'm good enough. You know, the skill ceiling for producing videos is so high and so broad that I always think I could do better. And I've also got little side projects that I'm working on where I can test new film techniques and special effects and ideas. But yeah, I mean, there's a few episodes ago. Yeah, that's a good episode. But I don't know. There's just something that just makes me want to just keep going and try and improve and get better and better. And I've been told by fans that you can, if you see the first episode of Smack Talk, the very first, and then you watch all, oh god, it's like 39 episodes. It's quite a catalog. There is an upward trajectory you can in quality, and even me, Mr. Pessimist, can kind of see that the voice changes and the character becomes more relaxed, comfortable. The audio quality improves, the editing gets a lot sharper, new special effects, new characters, more little skits as well. So yeah, I think that's a tough question. You know, which is the proudest video? There are some videos I'm happy with, and I know a lot of work went into, but I don't know. There's always a part of me that's just like, this isn't my magnum opus, not yet. I'm not quite there yet. So yeah, that's but I think at the end of the day, it's not really about what necessarily makes me happy, but more the fans. I do a lot of the stuff I do is for the fans, because that is its own reward, because I don't make that much money from this. A lot of YouTubers who I talk to, they're all monetized, and I can't monetize because I use a lot of copyright music. I swear like a motherfucker. I drop F-bombs like they're going out of fashion, and you get demonetized for that now. And it's a case of, well, I don't want to compromise my creativity. If I click that monetize button, I'm going to have to compromise, and I don't want to. I want to do my own thing. I want to be creative and make stuff that makes people happy. So it's not that I feel like I'd be selling out, but I just know it would cause a lot of hassle. I don't think I'd be that happy with it. I'd probably get demonetized anyway. Content would get taken down, and sometimes I don't really necessarily have a very good regular upload schedule. So people are waiting months for stuff, and I'd hate for videos to get taken down just because I wanted some extra shekels. So, so it's not worth it. So I'm happy to take that hit that I can't make a comfortable living from it. Thankfully, I do have fans who very generously donate through PayPal and Patreon to make me not reliant on YouTube. But currently, I'm in a very rough patch with work and employment. So as much as it's great, maybe if I clicked monetize and monetize all those views, I can't, and I don't want to. I'm happy to be. I think artist is a grandiose term, but I'm happy to be a starving artist, as it were. I'm happy just to be able to create what I want to create, and if I don't get paid as much as some YouTubers, so be it. Because at the end of the day, I get fans who are happy and feel that they've got their money's worth. So that's all that matters.
Well, that's good. Look, it is frustrating, especially when you're trying to create a political, or not a sort of artistic like video, and you want to create something, an art piece, and you're trying to sort of balance that sort of monetization aspect to it with your creativity. Have you like considered, or have people reached out even about like in sponsored content, or you got paid promotions? Have you considered ever doing that, or is that still?
It's crossed my mind. I know some people who've done paid promotion, and it pays very well. Very well. I can totally see why a lot of YouTube channels do it, because we're talking thousands.
Yeah.
The problem is, I just don't think it would fit with my channel. I haven't had anyone who's come offering me deals. I get the dodgy ones. I get the dodgy companies who are saying, "Hey, talk about my YouTube channel," and you check out the YouTube channel, and there's Russian bots. It's not a meme. There are Russian bots. So you have this English-speaking person, and there's all these just none of these YouTube channels in quotation marks have subscribers or fans. They're just these random Russian bots. The Russian bots aren't a meme. They do exist, and you can buy them to pimp your YouTube channel. So that was one very jarring instance I had. Someone saying, "Oh, I've got a puppet show. Can you take a look at my channel?" And it was all bots. They just bought a load of bots. So I don't. I think because my humor is quite dark and dare I say edgy, I don't think anyone's gonna come up to me and go, "Yeah, can you promote these tampons?" What am I gonna do? It doesn't quite work with it's too cynical, especially when I'm always Professor Tosspot's harping on about corporations getting involved with stuff, and it's tough, and for various reasons. Well, lots of other YouTubers are doing it, and sometimes the same paid promotions, and I just think it's gonna get a bit irksome for some viewers to see some of their favorite YouTubers constantly putting in the same ad as everyone else. I think we're not at that point yet, but I think if this keeps happening, a lot of people are going to start groaning and going, "Oh, he's just doing the same paid promotions as everyone else," and it can get in the way of work. So
Yeah.
I have nothing against people doing paid promotions, because YouTube is very tough to make as a career, and these guys pay very well, but it can be a source of contention with fans. They feel like you're selling out, or it's compromising on your material. Because I was thinking, like, because I was mulling it over in my brain, I was thinking, well, how could I fit it into an episode of Smack Talk? A lot of episodes are it's bam, bam, bam. I'm throwing out witticisms and points, and I think it would just affect flow to just suddenly, halfway through the video at the start, just go,
By the way, this is sponsored by Poopsy Unicorn Dolls. Get your kid a shitting unicorn.
yeah, it wouldn't quite fit. So again, as much as it would be nice to have couple of grand, that'd be great. I could get I could get a better computer for editing. I could have all this stuff to really help my channel production values. But I just can't. It's another one of those things where no, can't do it. So I just gotta make do with my lot, and I'm happy with my lot. Again, it is about having creative freedom and having to not compromise on that. And I think it's a problem a lot of YouTubers face, and a lot of people see YouTube as a career. I think this YouTube gold rush is starting to fizzle out because it's very oversaturated. There's a lot of YouTubers coming in, and speaking to friends and colleagues who've worked with young people, teenagers, a lot of their career aspirations are YouTube or maybe Instagram model or something like that. Every single one of them wants to be this self-made e-celebrity, and it's going to get harder and harder as more people come to it. And I think, and my advice to any YouTuber would be, if you're going to become a YouTuber, manage your expectations. You may not become a big star, but you should be doing it because you want to practice making videos. You want to improve on yourself. I think I said this in the podcast before. Use YouTube. Don't let YouTube use you. One of the reasons I got into YouTube was it was a good place to host some of the videos I was making. It's good for a show reel. If you want to go into television and film, it's always good to have a show reel of the stuff you've done, and that's what I did. And it's allowed me to practice and improve on my abilities to edit. So I would say if you are going to go on YouTube, do it as a hobby, do it for fun if you can, and also do it as a way of improving yourself and exploring your abilities. Maybe it's a great chance for you to explore your abilities as a public speaker, being a charismatic figure, because some YouTubers have a wide audience because they're charismatic. They know how to tell a good story, tell a good joke, and they have screen presence, and maybe that's something you can develop. Or maybe you just want to get better at editing or animating or whatever. So I'm not trying to poo-poo YouTube. I'm just saying that it's very difficult to make a secure career. And I think I would just use YouTube as a way to just explore yourself creatively. I know it sounds a bit whimsical, a bit like a self-help book, but hey, that's my thoughts on it. And don't take it too seriously. Don't take YouTube too seriously. Try and avoid YouTube dramas and spats like that. And, have a thick skin as well, because you are going to get negative. It's YouTube. YouTube comment sections can be a very mixed bag, as we all know. So have a thick skin and go in with managed expectations, but don't go onto YouTube with an ego that can be fucking seen from space and just immediately get on there and try and sell out and play the numbers game, always trying to get the bigger numbers. Just be happy with your lot and don't take it too seriously. And also have a backup plan for a career. So if that means, you do YouTube and as side B, you got to be a stripper, so be it. Well, I mean, it's looking that way for me. It's only a matter of time.
Well, that'll be the next live stream, I hope. That's maybe what you should do, is just a 24-hour live stream of the puppet doing a striptease.
Puppetry is really hard. I've tried to do ventriloquism, but that's also really hard, especially with the voice.
Yeah.
But a lot goes into smack talk than a normal. I mean, a lot of YouTube reviewers do the whole sitting in a chair talking to a camera, and that works for them. Me personally, I wanted to do something different, but as a result, I have a lot of extra steps. Using green screen and voice acting, and puppetry and combining all that, and I'm one guy as well, so I've got to film, edit. There's a lot that goes into it rather than just setting up a camera and just filming and me spouting out a load of rhetoric. So it's very tricky, and I have to put a lot more work into an episode.
Yeah, and it's quite interesting. Even I really love like everyone on the podcast is like got great content, and even like more specifically like you and Cynical, like you guys put a lot of work into your videos. Like I honestly, if I saw both of your guys' videos on the channel, like on like TV channel any day, I'd be like, oh yeah, no, that's what it is. But to see like you guys do like such like low budget, great content on your channel, it's just fascinating and amazing. Like the production value you put into it for the dollar, like it's great. And it's amazing to see creators like yourselves do that. And well, I did see before, and like just even going back to like the in sponsorship thing, I think you could find the middle ground here. See, there's this company called Blue Chew, which I just sent you a link over. It's a basically look.
Viagra.
It's a Viagra pill. Yeah, it's a Viagra pill. They do YouTube sponsorships, I have found. So I think that might be a company that you could reach out to and find the middle ground on content versus creativity, whatever, you know.
Possibly. I'm just thinking, how would I fit that into an episode? What would the professor say?
As someone with a floppy dick, I find it can really put a crimp on your day. Sometimes you just want to get more than a stiff upper lip.
Perfect. Oh, perfect.
Take Blue Chew and give your wife something to hang her towels off.
That's great. Oh, wow.
They're all improvised.
Wonderful.
It's the reason I like doing Professor Tosspot is because me normally I'm quite a dullard. I'm not. We're different. We're very different. And I think there is an expectation with people, if they know that I do Professor Tosspot and they know me, when they come to meet me in real life and they know that I do Voxis Production, Smack Talk, all that stuff, there's an expectation that I am just really grumpy. Like I am a massive curmudgeon and everything sucks. And actually, people are quite. They're taken aback when they see that action. I'm pretty happy-go-lucky, just
chill
the opposite.
guy.
But yeah. If anything, I'm just a bit stoic. I'm just like, I couldn't give a fuck about all this crap. Professor Tosspot is just a great outlet for just being more interesting and more extrovert and being a character. It's character acting, essentially. So by day I'm my old-mannered Paul, and I do video editing.
But by night, I'm the eccentric Professor Tosspot. Woo!
But there's also, and I think I've gone at length at this before, that I feel I've created a monster that everyone loves. But my channel got big from Professor Tosspot, and I'd done other stuff, and people are more interested in the character than they are me, which is fine. Because I created the character, but it does mean that when I do podcasts and Voxis Productions that people expect Professor Tosspot and they expect that character to be entertained, and I can't be me, and also because I don't think I would be that interesting on a podcast talking about films. I think the character has become bigger than me, and I'm happy with that, because that's a character that everyone's entertained by. So Professor Tosspot can happily steal the show as far as I'm concerned, because it's what makes people happy.
I get that. And even last week we're talking with Cynic Snacks and just trying to like get that separation between yourself and the character. Like how have you dealt with that? And does it worry, even just sort of touching there as well, like when you sort of want to go on and make like other projects, like you've said, you've got this huge audience, but like, how do you feel even about like introducing or doing different things that sort of divert from what you're doing already?
Well, there's quite a few of my student projects on my channel, and they're very different from Smack Talk. So there is a slight disconnect there, and I remember uploading stuff and people saying, "This isn't Smack Talk. Make more Smack Talk." But at the same time, that doesn't really faze me too much, because the side projects and things like that, they're really kind of just things for show reel or just something a bit different. I'm a firm believer in variety is the spice of life, and I do have some other stuff in the background that I'm working on that's either, you know, light-hearted and maybe funny, but certainly it's not Smack Talk. Smack Talk's a separate thing, but at the same time, Smack Talk is something I have created, and it makes people laugh and happy. So I can't really moan too much about it. Go, oh, no one cares about me. They only care about the professor. But I'm not really that bothered, because I created it and people are very happy with this character. For me, what gets me through the shitty editing sessions, where it's, you know, a long drawn out process, is the comments and feedback I get from people. I've had numerous people comment on my videos saying, oh, I've had a really shit day, or they've had a death in the family or a messy breakup, and they've managed to laugh and get some proper belly laughs out of what I've done. And that really gets to me in a positive way.
Yeah.
And it makes you think, yeah, this is I should be happy with this. If me pretend to be Professor Tosspot makes people happy and forget their worries and entertains them, so be it. I think, as I've said, you've got to be slightly above having an ego, as it were. I think you have to be humble and go, this is my lot and I'm happy with it. Yeah, my channel, the intention of my channel was never to go, aha, this is the show. Look at me, I'm poor. It was more of, well, look at these videos. I hope you enjoy them. But yeah, in regards to Sing Snacks, he also puts in a lot of work. He's got it really bad because he's an animator, and animators get the shitty end of the stick on YouTube. I have a lot of respect for animators on YouTube, and if there are any animators watching this interview and you have a YouTube channel, keep up the good fight, because it is fucking rough. The amount of hours you have to put in for, you know, something that's going to be on screen for 5 minutes, and YouTube likes long content, quick uploads, and it's very tough to make it as an animator. But you shouldn't give up, because animating is very creative. It requires a lot of skill. You've just got to crawl through the suck, as I call it. Animators on YouTube are like Andy Dufresne in the Shawshank Redemption. You gotta crawl through miles and miles of shit, but you gotta do it, because at the end of it, you know, you'll get out and you'll have that boat on the Bahamas. But you gotta seriously crawl through that miles and miles of shit. So much respect to any animators out there listening to this. Love you a long time.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, especially with that and trying to make that grind. With that, even like for animes, and that is a difficult thing. And even going further with sort of like separating yourself with the character, because like you make like, look, we all know there's some yikesy jokes that you make because that's the character and that sort of thing. Like, do you ever worry about that sort of even into like stepping into sort of like where you want to go or something like that? Like, even like you say that with like your own portfolio and you want to use this as your screen reel. Like, do you ever go like, oof, you know, I was looking to work at the BBC's Kids, and yeah, apparently they didn't like that one. Do you ever get that worry with like how you present and trying to separate the two different things?
No. I mean, when I've worked for media companies in the past, I've shown them Smack Talk, and they just go, "Oh, that's cute. It's a puppet show." Because they only have so much time, don't they? So they just go, "Oh, that's cute." And I think that's the reason why Smack Talk probably doesn't have the as big as appeal is because people see a thumbnail and think, oh, it's a puppet. Oh, it must be for kids. And then the people who do actually click on it go, oh, it's a puppet.
So you got the Team America approach.
Shows up on screen, and then he's like,
fuckity fuck.
and they're like, oh, this puppet, he isn't a charming little old man. He's horrible. He's saying fuck. It's generally with show reels anyway, they'll only watch a couple of minutes. So I'm not too worried. There have been times where I think my old film professor, he just sent me, the last time I heard from him was, I think it was a week after I uploaded my Black Panther review, and he just sent me a single text saying, I saw your Black Panther review. Yikes. Actually said that.
Oh my God.
From him since. Obviously, I do say some politically incorrect things, but you will always have that problem when doing a comedy, because comedy is very hard, and it's a hell of a lot tougher these days. We do live in some very politically correct times, and it is up to comedians to figure out where that line is. Like, how far do you cross the line? I'm finding that what's acceptable is getting very narrow. Some jokes you think are quite innocuous and quite dry humor, and yet someone's offended. Recently there was the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. Do you know about the Edinburgh Fringe Festival?
Is it in Australia? No, I don't know.
So the Edinburgh Fringe Festival is a thing we have up in Scotland. It takes place in Edinburgh, and the Fringe Festival is
Edinburgh Fringe Festival happened in Edinburgh. Oh man, I'm shook. I didn't expect that.
I will be honest with you. I am working on very few hours of sleep, so I'm a bit.
Hey, same
here.
Rambling.
Hey. But they have this week-long festival of comedy, and a lot of comedians go there to make a name for themselves, and a lot of them start off in the comedy circuit there. So there was one comedian who won the funniest joke of the Fringe Prize this year. It was given by we have this TV channel in the UK called Dave, the home of witty banter. And so the guy makes a joke, and his name is Falafel, I think. And his gag, and it's a pretty crap joke. It was, I keep randomly shouting out broccoli and cauliflower. I think I might have florets. Pretty lame, but it won the best award, maybe because it was so lame and almost like dad humor. Tourette's charity want an apology from him. Like, they found that offensive. They admitted the joke was crap, but they're like, no, but this is offensive. You're making fun of people with Tourette's. It's just, and you see what I mean? It ties in that, like, but that wasn't that bad. Like, there are better Tourette's jokes as well. Like, how many Tourette sufferers does it take to shit a light cock?
That's a good. I haven't actually heard that. It's a good one.
Yeah, it's better if you emphasize the swear words. I'm running on a bit of low energy.
That's
right. But it's, you know, but where is the line?
Yeah.
You got, you know, people like Dave Chappelle being thrown to the firing light because he, you know, said some racy things, and you hear about, you know, cops being called on comedy clubs for people doing hate speech. So it is bad, and I don't like that a lot of time you do have to second guess some of the jokes you make, you know. I generally have a shotgun approach, which is like, everyone's a viable target. I will hit everyone equally with snarkiness. So Christians, gays, lesbians, Muslims, Jews, everyone gets a fair share of flack. I generally have a rule of I hit them once and I don't come back for seconds. So I'll make my joke and move on. And
maybe check twice for the Christians, but other than that,
it's interesting. the type of people you think are going to be offended aren't. And it's actually people getting offended on their behalf. I think I've spoken at length on podcasts about this before. But I have fans, all walks of life. I've had, Muslim fans, autistic fans, because I have the side character, Autistic Andy. And they love Autistic Andy. Everyone loves Autistic Andy. And they don't feel that it's in bad taste. And for a lot of people, me, saying edgy things and making dark jokes is refreshing. They feel it's almost counterculture in a way, to be able to kind of speak your mind a bit freely, tell some jokes that are close to the knuckle, because it's refreshing, because everyone else seems kind of silenced in a way. Everyone's second guessing, and writing comedy is very hard. At least if you were making a horror movie, I'll just throw in a jump scare, that'll get a reaction to someone. Comedy is is a whole different ball game, because everyone has different tastes, and a good comedian has to read the room, and that's really difficult when you're on YouTube, because you haven't got a comedy club room full of people staring at you. I mean, that takes some of the heat off, I suppose, but it can be difficult writing jokes. I talk with Cynic Snacks and Cynical Reviews, and they're very similar styles of doing comedy, which is this kind of cynical and snarky take on things. But and that can be quite hard with the delivery of jokes, and and sometimes we look at each other's scripts and give advice on what would be some good jokes and things like that. So it's very difficult to really figure out what's going to work and what isn't. And there are some times where I look at a joke and like, is that going to hit home? How can I bring that delivery? Thankfully, playing Professor Tosspot gives me quite a bit of leeway, because it's quite quite a bombastic character. It's very in your face for an old git. So it does help with the comedy and delivery, but it's very hard. And you can fuck it up. Yeah, if a joke doesn't land, oof. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, man, I totally know what you mean with like the YouTube joke scene. Like, as a YouTuber I know, like, he thought it'd be funny to show a dead body in the Japanese suicide forest, and I don't know about that one. That didn't work out too well.
But at least we know the line not to cross. Dead bodies, no. We can tick that off. Okay. Yeah. So I probably can't make any necrophilia jokes for a while. But
yeah. Well, we can just use
dead girls don't say no and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's just too soon at this point, We'll give it 6 months and we'll be good. We're back to that. But go on, Wesley.
So another thing as well, I see, and this isn't a gripe about meme culture per se, but I do feel that a lot of people, when they're worried about jokes, they just rely on memes a bit too much. I do see a lot that with content creators. And I do feel the problem with having to rely on meme humor is that it gets dated very quickly. But also, memes are almost like jokes by committee. Like, memes are spread because they're kind of acceptable. Like, they're inoffensive, everyone gets them. But then when it comes to creativity, it's almost like rebooting in a way. You take a joke and you recycle it. Memes are kind of like knock-knock jokes. The format's kind of the same. The punchline might be different, but how many times have we seen image macros of SpongeBob and something like that? It's humor online has become very diluted. You either have to tell very, very clean jokes, very dry jokes, or just rely on memes. And I see some stuff that makes you raise an eyebrow, like kids asking for dating advice and going, I want to make a girl laugh. What memes should I send her? I'm thinking, why can't you come up with your own jokes by yourself? Because that's the problem. If you struggle to find jokes, you're essentially in a way kind of stealing jokes and using that to show off your humor, but it's not your humor, it's someone else's. And maybe you've added maybe a spin on the meme itself, but good jokes come from that kind of originality. Why can't you be the person who makes the joke that becomes a meme? So yeah, I'm not saying memes are bad. I'm not saying if you like memes, you are putting jokes, but I'm finding that a lot of YouTubers rely on memes too much for the delivery of humor, and I find that they can make some pretty good witticisms and one-liners themselves without the use of memes. But again, it just ties in that broader idea of safe comedy, and I feel that memes are quite safe. Like, they're kind of approvals. Like, that meme's acceptable, and you can get some edgy memes, sure.
Yeah.
But humor online is very difficult. I feel very difficult.
I get that very much so. Man, like, if I could make jokes like a boss, that would be so good. Dab, dab, dab. Man, like, if I only had better humor like that. Oh well.
But you can. I've had a laugh with you, and you're on the podcast. It's great. And I think comedy also ties into confidence as well.
Yeah.
And I think if you have low self-esteem, you just like, this is going to be funny enough. And I think you just...
Oh, yeah, I totally get that. Like, there's so many people
comedy
like...
is about... Yeah. Comedy is about taking risks. So you do have to put yourself out there. It's almost like I've got to go on stage and I've got to show my cock. And it's going to be really embarrassing, but I've got to do it for whatever reason. Maybe that's not the best analogy because I'm quite sleep deprived. But you are putting yourself out there. You're getting quite vulnerable because, and I'm sure you agree, because you're an Aussie.
Yeah.
We have a culture, both England and Aussie, of banter. We love banter. Is like, we can't go out into the woods and duel each other with pistols at dawn, but we can throw bants.
Yeah.
And that's what we have. Throwing good banter, at each other is great. But it's a way of showing off your kind of witty prowess, as it were. And if a joke doesn't hit, if you can't make someone laugh, then you feel that, like, I can't entertain people, I can't make people smile. You start, it throws in those little worms of doubt into your brain, and you think, I'm not funny. That guy told a joke, there's raucous laughter. But you have to, in some ways, put that to one side and go, okay, that didn't hit, I just read the room wrong. You've got to take a lot of rejection and a lot of bad jokes. You've got to tell a lot of bad jokes to figure out your own humor, your own voice, because everyone's got a different style, and also tailor it to your audience as well. So I would say to anyone who's writing comedy, I'm no expert on comedy. I feel like I'm lucky enough to make people laugh. But if you are going to attempt writing, just keep practicing, and trying your stuff on your audience is the best way to gauge your type of humor, because there's different types of humor anyway. And if you can as well, show scripts to family and friends, because that'll give you the kick up the arse you need. You may not like it when your boyfriend or your girlfriend, whatever, or mom and dad go, but they're the ones. If you can't make them laugh and they're the closest one to you, then you need to rework some stuff. And this probably sounds a bit egotistical, but you can tell if you got a good joke if you write it and you read it again and you yourself laugh and go, it's fucking stupid. Because you're so used to it, you're probably bored of it. But it's a struggle making people laugh, especially in this modern age where everyone's quite uptight, everyone gets offended and outraged easily. You just want to bring a smile to someone's face, and everyone's too apathetic and down to crack just a wry smile. Can be disheartening. But yeah, going back to what you said, don't self-doubt yourself there, my dude. You are very funny. You're very charismatic.
I hope so. I was just memeing before with the dabs.
No, that's fine.
Yeah. No, that just reminded me of like my I've written like stand-up things, and my opener is I think it makes me feel a bit awkward that my mum became pro-abortion after I was born. I don't know how that makes me feel. Yeah. Then I go on. Then I go. Then I go. Then I go on with the other things about other weird shit with that. Oh, Mum, I hope you're not listening to this. But yeah, I get what you mean. Like with the joke thing is past. Like there's so much like meme shit, and like I actually haven't been able to like verbalize that or like voice that in person before. But you just made that like take like really really clear, and that like I get what you're saying with that. That is like that hits a nail on the head. Like memes are like used often as a crutch when they shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's not bad, but it's when there's an over reliance. There are some YouTubers who rely on them too, like their whole channel is about memes, and memes are like food. They have a shelf life.
Yeah,
you can only enjoy. Like, does anyone remember the fucking Numa guy anymore? You know, that's fucking old.
No many more.
They yeah.
Got him.
Like, they don't last long, whereas you have so much more freedom with just making it a joke as well and demonstrating your own personality. So yeah, to any YouTubers watching, memes are good to a point. You know, you can throw them in so people go, oh, I got that reference, that's good. But if your whole channel is just meme and you're not demonstrating what you can do, I think you're doing yourself a disservice. You got to get yourself out there a bit more and express yourself creatively.
I get what you're saying.
I'd say.
No. And I think talking about this this lighthearted thing, I think this is a great transition to ask about. Obviously, you put up a update like a month ago talking about sort of where the channel's going and even sort of what's been happening in your own personal life, and it's sort of like a slight break of character in the last sort of couple of uploads, and talking about your stomach issues and etc. And I was just very curious. I just wanted to check in, like what's been happening and how you've been going since then.
I'm getting better. It's just the problem that my health issues have caused is creating this backlog of videos because it can just take a lot out of me. It's just a health problem I've been having over the last 18 months. It's really been an absolute pisser. It's post-infection IBS, and there have just been days where I've been lying on a couch just ill. And as I've said, I'm one guy, and trying to do all these things to produce one video is tough. And so it's created a backlog, and I hate it. But another thing is when you're creating videos, it can be quite stressful because you can feel pressure. So recently, getting the last video I did, Moms Make Porn Out, that was meant to come out in May.
Wow.
And that's bad. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's been on the backlog. And just
well, the thing is as well, like you haven't got like that drastic upload difference either. Like it's not like you've gone like 5 months without making a video. Like that's insane. Wow.
Well, there's a huge backlog of videos. I think I'm working on one at the moment to commemorate 50,000. But I've still got my Captain Marvel one.
Is it 50?
So that's the next one.
Is it 50,000 to come out at the million subscribers? Please do that. Thanks for 50,000 guys at the million. When you hit a million, that's when you drop the 50,000.
This is a slight tangent, but nothing scares me more than the idea of having 1 million subs, 1 million people to entertain and deliver content to, but also just keep in touch with as well. Well, I read every single comment that I get on my videos. I may not respond to them all, but 1 million, I'll be like, whoa.
Well, let's be real. Crazy. In your case, there might be a couple of Russian bots in there, okay, sending you emails. So I think you don't have to be too worried there. But I get what you mean. Even when I go through reading like all the comments and stuff, and like the more like when you have like those videos that, like get a little bit more views than the others, and you have to go through them all, and you're reading through it, and that can get very daunting. But even just sort of
I've always had the worry. And I try and as much as 50,000 is nice, there's always a worry I have where you get into that mindset where it's about chasing numbers, suddenly the subs don't become people anymore. their
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah.
And I think that's something you have to be really careful of, because then you start being dismissive of the content that you're creating for people, because you're thinking, I've got to get this video out on this day, and it's got to cover this subject because of the algorithm, and I want to reach this amount of numbers because that's really good, and also I'll get more money as well. And I think it starts to dehumanize the people you're making the content for. And I've always had a kind of niche channel. In some ways, I kind of like that because I get to kind of keep tabs on my fans, and it's a lot more personable as well. There's a lot more interactivity because it's a small number. And in some ways, that's why it's nice having a small channel and not being too worried about the numbers, because then I think for some people they get a bit complacent because there are 1 million subs, and it's like, well, I've made it now as a YouTuber. I can get other people to edit my videos for me, which happens a lot. Some of these YouTubers get big and they don't even make their stuff anymore. They don't have as much creative input. They're the face, they're the talent of the channel, and they don't put as much in. The worry is forgetting your roots. You always got to remember where you came from, and always remember the kind of content you created as well. Because some people change up the kind of content they make just to appeal to a broader demographic, just again to get those numbers, and they alienate some of their fans. And the problem is you wouldn't be where you were if it wasn't for those fans. And I love the fans I got, and some of them have stuck with me for years. And you've got, you're not a big YouTuber.
What are you talking about?
I'm not trying to shame you.
What are you talking about? 750, my friend. That's a sizable number. That's it.
Do you know 750 people in real life, though?
Let me
the thing.
Well, hold on. Let me check my Facebook friends. Well,
but
yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Those guys, they mean a lot to you, especially when you're starting out.
Yeah.
Like that, and I think when you start off small and you're beginning and you're trying to branch out, they help you.
They do.
Those
yeah.
750, their comments and their support is what it gets through it, because it can be tough making videos, and it's really nice to have these people give you their support. They are the cheerleaders of your channel. They are there in their miniskirts, and they are just goading you on.
They're the true stands.
Yeah.
And
what the fuck were you talking about?
Oh, anyway, we were talking about your stomach issues, but I just want to give you a bit of advice.
My intestines.
Yeah, I just want to give you a bit of advice. Like, if you feel like you're ever getting too big, you can always just pull a pro Jared and lose half your channel. Just do some sort of like sexual abuse scandal, lose half your subscribers. You'll be fine. I think if you can keep managing those scandals, you can keep your numbers at a pretty healthy level while continuing to put out more videos.
The thing is, though, even if I did, people say, "Oh, we don't care about Paul. We just like Tosspot anyway." Well, you do all the drugs
Tosspot sexual scandal. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think there'll ever be a day where I see a picture of Professor Tosspot #MeToo. I mean, I probably just fucking jinxed it by saying that.
I can see that.
Although I could probably see just as someone tweeting Professor Tosspot gets molested by Paul, he puts his hand. He fisted me on set or something.
Well,
It was awful. He kept looking me in the eyes during the whole thing.
Well, I think this could lead into. Is this why you don't have social media with the Voxis? So you don't get done?
I generally just don't have social media. This comes up a lot. So why don't you use social media?
Yeah.
Friends and people put me off social media. They would always say, "Oh, you got to try social media," and then next week they'd be saying, "Oh, this fucking asshole on Facebook said this," and they got into this drama. And I just thought, I can't be dealing with this. I got enough on my plate as is. I don't want to get into these spats. I don't want people keeping tabs on me. I've got ex-girlfriends and things like that, and the people keep tabs on you. Social media was supposed to be about communicating, keeping in touch with friends, but it's kind of got a bit perverted by people just prying into your private life, or people just using it for validation. A lot of narcissism. It's weird, but I don't know. I think it's just me being a bit of a hipster and saying, "Oh, I'm not going to be conformist." But
last man on the
really
internet
weird.
without Facebook.
But people think you're a weirdo. Like I remember saying to someone like, "Oh yeah, I don't use social media," and they're like, "Oh, I've heard of people like you existing." I was thinking, people.
You and
like
the dinosaurs,
doing
my
this
friend.
thing.
You and the dinosaurs.
Yeah, it's like I'm a fucking. It's like either being a unicorn or a black astronaut. It's like this is rare. Like whoa, it was very weird. And I was dumbfounded. It's just a website. But I'm happy without social media.
That makes sense.
I just do my videos and make people laugh. I don't want to be on Twitter taking photos of what I've just eaten or getting into some spat with someone or people just keeping tabs on me in the wrong way.
I totally get what you're saying.
You can always email me. Like my email's on my channel. Like or send me a good old fashioned email. No one does that anymore. Emails are like letters now. And I do read my emails. I do get emails from fans and they're lovely and I do try and respond. But yeah, you can still get in touch with me. But no, social media, it's not for me.
You get wrapped up so easily. Like for myself, like even like the Twitter spats that happen, you're like, oh my goodness, this is insane. Like where is this going? And then you sit there and you're like, this doesn't fucking matter at all. Like what the fuck? Like what have I been doing for like the last whatever? Like this is insane. Like this doesn't matter. Like who used what in like an art piece or whatever, or like who said what about what the other day on a live stream. Like this doesn't matter.
It really doesn't.
Like I don't give a shit, but I still do. Like it's such that weird dichotomy.
It's crazy. I guess that's what kind of for me puts me off about social media is that you essentially become the content you are, and not in a good way. It's not like you're making. It's not like when you do YouTube videos. You are content for someone to judge and make fun of, and I mean, it seems a bit hypocritical talking about making fun of, but you know what I mean. You are a tool essentially in the website. You are something to be data mined by companies. You are content by other people to scrutinize. It seems like a waste of internet. There's so much cool stuff on the internet, a wealth of information. Instead, people just show cat pics or their asses.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Cats and arse. That's social media.
I get what you're saying. I think I've got to like for me especially like trying to grow like my YouTube and like trying to because like I said before the show, like I do radio stuff as well on the side. Like I've had to get into social media and like really like knuckle down on this shit because I'm like, oh, I gotta like really like get in contact with people and like share my shit around. And like the Cool Cut drama would have never happened with like the Twitters and stuff like that. So I'm sort of appreciative on that front as well about like having the social media. But god damn, is it like a drain? Like it is such a like a black hole that you can't get out of once you're in it. Like it's it is
for anyone working in media. It's almost essential to have social media.
Yeah, and it's amazing that even
it is
you
shooting myself in the foot. Yeah, I shoot myself in the foot by not having it because it's another tool of promotion and people do shout outs to me, but they can't link me on Twitter. They can link my YouTube. But again, it's another one of those things like that I'll take. I'll take that beating. I can't monetize. I don't want to get involved in social media, but I'll do it just for the sake of. I'll do my thing just for my sanity and just so I can just make my stuff. I think that's all I want to do at the end of the day. Let me make my videos. Leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah, I get that, and I respect that a lot because goddamn, I wish I stopped using Twitter, but I can't help it. Oh man, there's too much.
You're in too deep now.
I am way too deep. Oh man, it's like I'll be sitting there and I'll be like, I'll be talking to my girlfriend like, this person did this, and this, and she'll just look at me and go, what? I wouldn't care if my best friend did that. Who gives a fuck? And I'm like, I don't know anymore.
You do start to feel like you're part of like a catty sewing circle.
Yeah.
Did you see what Louise said on Twitter?
It doesn't
matter. She has gotten fat.
It brings out the like so much of just like the like drama hunger in the person, and you're just like, oh my goodness, this is like toxic and it's pointless. It's so pointless. But it's like, oh well. But I guess we can finish up talking on the IBS, the post-infection IBS. If that's the way it's
Yeah,
called.
I think I feel like I'm getting better. But you know, it has made me unemployed, which sucks.
Yeah.
But it also gives me a bit more time to work on Smackdown. And there's just this massive backlog of videos, different types that I'm just trying to get through, and just get some content out there for people, because it has been pretty scary with health. You know, I had when it got really bad, I had one night where I had a tachycardia, I think, where my heart just was beating like a fucked clock, and I thought I was going to die. It was very scary, and it gave me like death anxiety for months. And it was just playing on my mind. I was in a very dark place for a while last year, just constantly worried that any moment I was going to just die. And so that really gave me the drive to just try and make as many videos as I could. I was just thinking, well, if I'm going to die, at least go out making people laugh and smile and just get something out there. And then, you know, you just imagine your funeral as well. You just get very existential and just imagine, well, who's going to attend my funeral? Will there be YouTubers? Will there be a picture of me next to my coffin, but then a picture of Professor Tosspot as well?
You wouldn't be in the
vicar's
they would
gonna say?
They're gonna have an open casket and they're gonna cover your face and just have your hand with the the puppet on it instead.
I was thinking, would they bury me? They'd bury me.
They'd bury you. They'd bury
This
you.
is such a dark
and then
thought.
have a little coffin next to you as well for the puppet.
Yeah, I just imagine the eulogies. I think it'd just be really weird.
It'd be
You know?
actually, you know, what'd be even more fucked up if someone else in your life kept doing the puppet thing, had the exact same voice, and really fucked with the fans because they don't even mention your death. They just keep it going. Like you just don't even
Pass the mantle on.
and no one knows. No one knows. You're like the Phantom.
To be honest, my biggest worry that if I was going to die, when people are clearing out my house, if strangers cleared out my flat, they would find the cupboard where all the puppets are kept, and they're going to be like, this guy was a fucking weirdo. Where are the bodies hidden? There's a bit of a stigma with puppets. Like, you play with puppets, you're a weirdo. Yeah. You like puppets. You like to manipulate things. You're probably a serial killer.
Yeah. Well, just touching on that with the like finding things in your closet, like that is a really like interesting like existential thing, and like this came to my mind very clearly. Do you know Jeff Buckley? He did like the cover of Hallelujah, like ages ago in the 90s, and it got like really popular, and he got very popular, but then he died, 94 I think. Well, there was like
yes,
yeah, he his mum and I think it was like the record company went through a lot of his old recordings and like studio tests and stuff like that, and made an album, and it's an amazing album. Like it's such a good album. It's called You and I by Jeff Buckley. But the thing is, they have this extended version, and in this extended version, he's sitting there because he sings like this like classic song, but then he just starts doing a reggae thing, and he goes on talking about like, oh, I can't do reggae anymore because all the people are like and he's doing this like in the 90s, so it's like really interesting to hear this because it's like the same as what we hear now. He's like, oh, too many people being PC over like bloody reggae, and you know, getting a bad review because he thought it was distasteful, blah blah. And he's going to be like, man, you know, one day one day when I die, people are gonna just crawl into this like basement and find all these tapes of me singing reggae. It's gonna be insane. And it just sort of like took me back, and I'm like, holy shit, this record is like what he was like wondering would happen. And it gives you like a little existential thing of like, holy shit, like what happens? Like what could people crawl up and find from me after like I die?
Exactly. It was like I said, it was a very dark place for me, and I was having all these existential thoughts like, oh, what legacy do I leave behind? Will I be remembered for Professor Tosspot? So be it. You've got friends and family, but then there just came points like, oh, you know what? I'm thinking about this too much. I'm thinking about death way too much. I need to start living, and just focus on that. But yeah, it's a pretty rough place. But there's loads of instances where celebrities have left things where you think, oh, I wonder what they've left behind. I mean, there are the cases like, you know, David Carradine's like, oh, he's hanging in stockings and his willy's out. Okay. There are bad ways to go. As long as you
Michael
don't do
Hutchinson,
the
in
old
excess.
choke and stroke.
Yeah.
Don't do a choke and stroke before you die.
Michael Hutchinson, lead singer of In Excess, choking himself, broom up his butt allegedly.
Oh.
Like, I don't know if that's true. It's just everyone in Australia says that.
That's got to be the worst.
Well, like, there's this like a mini documentary series of like Michael Hutchinson in excess, and they try and like make like the lead up to his death, like he's like calling people, and it's like, oh, like he's like really sad, like he's really like, oh no, and you're like, oh shit, you're gonna kill himself, and then afterwards like, yeah, he just did auto like asphyxiation or whatever. Yeah, it wasn't actually like that sad. We just tried to make it seem like it was a really sad thing when he just fucked up the jack off. Like, I don't know. It like felt really like, ugh.
Should have used the buddy system.
Yeah.
I know that's the awkward one, isn't it? You can't dress it up in a, you know, I mean, if you did like charity work, it's still just a bit weird. Like, you know, at the eulogy, it's like, I helped clean landmines in Africa, and it was shame about his passing, and in the back of everyone's mind, everyone's thinking choke and stroke. He was joking it. Yeah. Yeah. It's also why I was, you know, last year I was always worried about dying on the toilet. Like,
oh yeah.
Once if this strain is my last one.
Doing the Elvis.
And you can read about EMTs finding people in weird positions and stuff when they die, and just there's no good way about it. I mean, dying is generally not very
pleasant thing.
Well, obviously, it's not pleasant, but there's no way you can dress it up to be like noble and stuff. Like, sometimes you'll shit the bed, or even more embarrassing, there's angel lust, what they call in the business, where you die with an erection and the blood doesn't move, so it stays there. So you have a permanent boner when you die. God forbid if you do a full open casket, because that's going to be awkward. Yeah, so there's no dignity in it, and you bloat and you smell if you've been left too long.
Yeah.
So.
I like.
Well, this interview went to a strange direction.
Well, like, you know,
it's an existentialism.
Well, you know what's even great about this? Like, we're talking about like existentialism and shit, and we just get to talking about the choke and stroke and having erections during your death. Like, this is the beauty of it, is that, you know, it's like, well, you know, like, this is really interesting. Yeah, but you don't want to die with the choke and stroke. You're like, oh, true.
Well, I think it's important that we give advice to people as well. You know, don't die on the toilet, don't die doing auto asphyxiation.
But like,
and if you feel like you're having a heart attack, tuck your boner between your legs.
That's
that might help.
Well, I think Michael.
I'm worried if they pry your legs apart, just boing, hit them in the face.
Actually, I think Michael.
I do an autopsy here. Got a dick to the face.
I think Michael Hutchinson did the biggest sacrifice for the entire world. Like, when you think about how many people didn't try it because they knew the reaction and like the absolute ridicule he got for doing it. Like, that man really is a hero in my eyes. Like, he saved probably a lot of men's lives because he said, like, he showed that if you die during this is the worst possible way you could die. Like, this is the most embarrassing thing. And I think a lot of people would have been put off by that. So, you know what? You're pretty alright in my eyes, Michael Hutchinson. Yeah. You did alright. I'm proud of you.
Looking down on us. Complete disgust.
You saved a lot of people, and that's what you should be remembered by. Not your music, just the fact that you saved a lot of people from
dangerous masturbation.
Yeah. And with that note, I think that's where we'll end today's show. So, okay. I usually use this point to ask the guest, where can they find you? But I'm pretty sure there's only sort of two things they can really.
YouTube.
Just YouTube, and they can support you on Patreon.
Yeah, I guess if you wanna send me some bucks on Patreon, that's entirely up to you.
The links will be down below.
But yeah, it's Voxis Productions. Don't ask me where the name came from. But yeah, Voxis Productions. I'm on YouTube. I have the show Smack Talk. I also have my little side student projects. But yeah, if you're into dark humor, foul-mouthed puppetry, and just not take things too seriously, then check out my channel. Yeah, and obviously, if you haven't already, subscribe to Red Suit and check out his
Oh.
really good,
Oh,
quirky.
hell yeah.
Well, it has to be done. I really like. You have a very comfy channel, and you do some interviews with some very interesting people. So thank you for having me on. It's been a privilege and honor. Yeah, you have a very good channel. I hope
so.
you also get more exposure.
Yeah, I hope so too. You know, I'm just doing the grind. I'm doing my. I just love chatting with people. That's the best thing. And talking with yourself. Like this is the way I do it. I love talking to you guys, and learning because it's great. It's great chatting. And yeah, I guess I'll reaffirm to that one. Yeah, if you guys want to check out my stuff, go down in the links below. Both Voxis and Paul or Tosspot. What would you rather?
We are one and the same.
Like, if people could email you or talk to you, like, what would be the introduction? Would you rather Tosspot, Paul, Voxis? Like, what's the one?
Call me friend.
Friend. All right. Friend. That sounds like what the local pedophile is gonna like tell the victim.
I meant.
What was his name? I don't remember. He only told me just to call him friend.
I was meant to come up as cringy, not seedy.
Well, I'm looking at like an old man
I tried.
profile picture. Like, I don't know. It's
Paul Voxis.
Professor Tosspot, it's all good. It's all good.
Well, thank you very much for coming on, and thank you everyone for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure, and next week we will be having the right opinion on. So, yeah, hopefully that will be a good one. But anyway, thank you very much. Stick around for the next one. Alrighty, see you later. Bye.